Now, where does the 2.5 lakh crores go? They don't go to the poor. They don't feed the poor. They feed the politicians. They finance elections. Now, if the government was serious, they could do entirely by Aadhaar, give people cash, not food. If they could give 6 lakhs crores to people in cash, say 60 crore people, each will get 10,000 rupees. Each person will get 10,000 rupees. Now, that would be real help. That would be real, genuine help to the poor, rather than
like
this tamasha about free food.
Lord Desai, may I join issue? I think what you have suggested is completely perverse. You are actually making the poor man of this country useless to work. I remember the British used to feed opium to the Indians so that they become useless to work and impotent. A suggestion such as yours to hand over 10,000 rupee checks is only making the man refuse to work. We need this. We need to teach the people skills. We need to give people jobs. Please don't make them useless to work.
Politicians want to feed only the rich. I want to feed the poor.
You may
proper money.
Not Desai, you may choose to brush everybody with the same brush, but the fact is the NDA also ran a government for 6 years. We created 60 million jobs. As per the Planning Commission in those 6 years, this government in 9 years has created only 3 million jobs. That's the type of government they have given us. A number of scams, Colgate, Sportsgate, you have every sort of rail gate. You are suggesting that these scams have no significance. And it's good to add money to the poor without giving them work.
We are discussing food security, and it is better to give money than to give food because it is more efficient and less corrupt. That's
Gentlemen,
all I'm saying.
How do you know what will happen with that money?
Anyway.
How do you know what will happen with that money?
And how do you know what happened with the food?
How do you know what happened with the food? Somebody in between.
How do you happen? 40%. The PDS has got 40% wastage rate. 40%
so
of
set
the
that right.
To waste.
Let us set that right.
If that is not gets wasted, you don't
get it. Set that right.
No, I come back to the moot issue.
Right.
No, watch it, gentlemen. I want to come to the moot issue. No, what is the moot issue?
Cash.
The moot issue.
No politician wants cash distribution because it's too honest.
Mr. Lord Meghnad Desai.
Corruption.
Lord Desai, you know what? Lord Desai, 1 minute. You see, the point is simply this.
And you become Lord, and you are all the time abusing the politicians coming over here. I think we should not subscribe your idea. If you are in habit, Lord, to abuse the politicians, you have a very bad idea every time you come and abuse. I think you lost the political process, interest in the political process, and you don't have any sort of belief in Indian parliamentary democracy. All the time you are. No, you are all the time. This is your. Passion.
May I please get in once. Gentlemen, 1 minute. Wait 1 second. I don't want to lose my voice 2 days before the Karnataka election. Just one simple point I'm making here today, Rashid Kidwai. Am I being naive, foolish in thinking that there could be a link between the super aggression with which the Congress party is suddenly talking about the food security bill on the one hand and this explosive CBI affidavit on the other? The explosive affidavit.
It's a red herring.
It's an explosive affidavit. It tells you how the government was trying to alter the coal scam status report. Now, am I foolish in assuming that this comes out at 11 o'clock and then you have this huge debate on the food security bill at 2 o'clock? Or are you also thinking that perhaps there's some basis in this argument? What do you think, Rashid?
No, and they knew this yesterday
what do you think, Rashid?
All the MPs and the Pravaktas.
From this point of view, it's a very well thought out strategy. Congress feels that food security bill, like Manrega, even if there are problems and deficiencies, it will cater to its core constituency. Congress feels that in this country, you cannot have any elections on a single issue. There is the issue of corruption. Indeed, it's there. And there are a lot of issues that need to be sorted out on May 8th, whether what is the role of judiciary vis-a-vis executive authority. I will not get into it, but the key point is today a very senior government official also talked about some kind of communal tension brewing in six Indian states. So there is a issue of this whole thing of keeping social fabric together. I know Dr. Swami will have some view on that. So all these things, so Congress party is working on a strategy. It feels that food security bill is a game changer. There is a cash transfer. It feels that voters, particularly the poorer section of society, will feel quite happy with whatever performance of Dr. Manmohan Singh government is if they get some cash.
No, but will it work? No, will it work? Will it work? Subramaniam Swami, let me ask you.
We have example of Manrega. It has a lot of corruption, it has a lot of flaws, but it did well. It brought Congress, it got Congress some votes in 2009.
You see, Subramaniam Swami, you criticize the food security bill. You have compared it to Railgate and Coalgate.
Yes.
I'm surprised that you are saying so, because somebody is going to turn around and say that Subramaniam Swami, and please, don't counter me, attack me, but Subramaniam Swami is a slightly insensitive politician. He does not consider the fact that this bill is going to help pregnant women and lactating mothers, children between the age of 6 and 14, malnourished children, disaster-affected people, the destitute of this country, homeless and starving persons who may not form the constituency that Subramaniam Swami and the BJP want.
But who stops them from helping these poor in any case? Does it require a bill? Damn it, do something for the poor.
Now,
you don't need a bill for that.
Mr. Swami, Dr. Swami.
Now let me reply. First of all, you brought me to tears. But as an economist, I know that money always has alternative uses. That all the things that you said should be done or would be done through this bill can be done by alternative mechanisms. The whole idea of economic reform to replace the Soviet model was that we didn't want the government to do too many things. We just want the government to maintain law and order and build a good infrastructure. And that worked very well. Now we are going back to the old Soviet model in a new form, where the government is to do this, hand out things. They don't have the machinery to do it. And the machinery of the UPA is so corrupt that none of this money will reach the people.
Which law says that let the poor die till the food security bill comes?
No. I'll tell you.
Tell me which manual, like the CBI director says, which manual says don't give food to the poor, to the destitute, to the children, lactating children.
One minute.
Show me which manual of the government says don't feed them except the Congress policies.
The problem. Can I 1 minute, please?
Subramaniam Swami is not reflecting the correct point. Actually, he is now again anti-Soviet.
Balachandra Mungekar, please, is responding to Subramaniam Swami. The Congress is responding to Subramaniam Swami. Let's get them on the screen. Yes, Mr. Mungekar. Mr. Mungekar.
Mr. Subramaniam Swami is always expert in confusing the people. Now, what is the question of bringing Soviet model back? So, Mr. Subramaniam is accountable to no one, responsible to no one. He is basically equating nationalization of wholesale trade with food security bill. They are poles apart. The question is, government is committed to the poor people, satisfying their basic food requirements. 40% people in this country, they are even today poor. And that is why the basic question here is, now, on one hand, Piyush Goyal is saying that this is perverse. And on the other hand, if it is perverse, why they are obstructing? They are obstructing only because of the fear and uncertainty that the government will give benefit of this. My question is,
give them jobs, give them work.
Whatever, it is government prerogative.
It is government prerogative to be at what time. No, so you want your prerogative is your government's prerogative is don't make them work.
My dear friend, you are talking.
Just give them a toll.
Piyush, you are talking of corruption during your Advani was saying that 20 lakhs of rupees, crores of rupees were stashed in Swiss bank. Did you bring 6 rupees from Swiss bank during your 6-year rule?
Yeah, because the data came out in your rule and you are shielding all the corrupt.
You are
shielding all the corrupt. Why don't you give out those names that HSBC?
You tell me.
Why don't you give out the HSBC names? Why don't you take action on all the Hassan Ali and all those scamsters?
Out of 20 lakh crores of Out of 20 lakh crores of rupees, could you bring 6 rupees from Swiss bank?
No,
6 years of
no, what, Mr. Mungekar?
You did not even remove Yediyurappa.
Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute. Mr. Mungekar, Mr. Mungekar, 1 minute. Mr. Mungekar, is there a symbiotic relationship? Is there a symbiotic relationship between Pawan Kumar Bansal and the food security bill? Because only two things are happening at the same time today. Pawan Kumar Bansal and the food security bill. I say to you, Mr. Mungekar, Mr. Mungekar, allow me. Mr. Mungekar. Mr. Mungekar.
No. You are talking wrong thing on now.
One at a time.
Correlation between two unrelated things.
How are they two unrelated
Now
things?
you are talking of correlation. No, of course. My point is, it is government prerogative to bring the legislation as and when it thinks, and it is in the interest of the nation. It is government prerogative. Who will rule the government? Opposition parties will
Can I bring the question, Mr. Anjan?
Who will rule the country?
Can I 1 second? One at a time, please. One at a time. Mr. Anjan, 1 minute, please.
While bringing it to the back end of the...
Mr. Anjan, 1 minute. I have not understood this thing. I first, Mr. Anjan, 1 minute, please. You keep talking about the fag end. Mr. Anjan, I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to have to directly counter you. When you were supporting the government, when there was also a dearth of funds,
Welcome.
the UPA one was not in its infancy. It was the fag end of the UPA when you stood there and supported the UPA saying, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with the farm loan waiver. How can you do a U-turn completely just because you're not with the Congress party? No, I've heard you saying fag end for a long time now.
1 year, more than 1 year left. It is one.
So now also there's 1 year left.
1 year left. Let Arnab one thing. When we were supporting and all that, saying at the fag end, let us, Arnab, just listen it. At that point of time, Bansals were not there. Anand, Ashwini Kumars were not there. At that point of time, Supreme Court had not passed many stricture against the government. At that point of time, the government has lost its credibility.
No, watch out. My question to Meghnad Desai. 10 minutes on this debate. Meghnad Desai.
They lame duck government.
Yes. Meghnad Desai.
Yes. This is surviving.
Okay, okay, fine. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, but that's your point of view.
Yes.
You may not agree with me.
Yes.
You may not agree. You may agree that the coal scam must go on. You may agree what Bansal has did is correct. You may agree that the CBI has been, you see,
that's ridiculous that you say that.
Manmohan Singh and the UPA. You may agree that the CBI has no right to put a affidavit before the court. You may disagree with the verdict of the Supreme Court, but I stand what I stand.
I want to now get in Meghnad Desai and Subramaniam Swamy. Meghnad Desai, yes. I found it quite alarming, the manner in which you completely dismissed scams and the issue of corruption in your opening remarks. No, how can you make a point? You are looking at the nature of the scams as someone who took a position against corruption. May I ask you how you are so dismissive about the nature of the scams, the degree of nepotism and the extent of the cover-up that we are seeing today?
I'm not dismissive. No, Arnab, I'm not dismissive. Scams will go on happening all the time. But the food security bill is a long-term commitment of an entitlement which may cause serious economic trouble to the country in case a harvest fails. This is a very serious security problem. This is not a trivial matter.
So what about
a rail scam or a
how is the rail scam a trivial matter?
Taken very seriously.
How is a rail scam?
Parliament is not discussing it. Parliament is not discussing it. I'd rather we discuss food security bill
Subramaniam Swamy
as an allocation issue. And we want to find out how many additional people are being covered because poor are covered in every state already by food subsidies. All you are doing is adding a few more crores.
No, Subramaniam Swamy.
Not the very poor. but they're not the very poor.
Subramaniam Swamy,
So this is
Subramaniam
not about
Swamy,
poverty at all.
directly respond to
This is
Meghnad
not about
Desai.
poverty.
No, no,
This is about corruption.
No, Meghnad
This
Desai
is about
says.
corruption.
Meghnad Desai
Food security
says.
bill is about corruption.
Meghnad Desai
I'm
says
not
the Pawan
taking
Kumar.
corruption lightly.
No.
This is about corruption, much bigger corruption than the railgate.
A job that could end up giving the person a Minister of State rank, secretary rank, is being sold for 2 to 10 crore rupees. If that is a trivial matter, then it would be very surprising. Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, is that a trivial matter, as Meghnad Desai says?
No, I will explain to you. Arnab, I explained to you, it is 2.5 lakh crore rupees.
No, it's about
rupees corruption.
Also, by your
Subramaniam Swamy's response. Subramaniam Swamy. Mr. Swamy.
I think you have understood.
Much bigger than 2G.
I think you have.
The issue is about having warehouses. Where are we going to keep all that food grains? These are the practical issues.
It is.
It's a scam on the people.
It is that the whole country.
Railgate is nothing.